Hello, my name is Dominic Underhallhouse and welcome to another episode of Moonbreaker. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at a list that actually we played against a couple of times in the last video, which was the last PvP video, which was the Against the Devs event. And what we've got here is the list that we played against from Rantology, I believe the name was. So, what we've got here is an Extilior list, and it actually quite handily picked me apart a couple of times. So, given that the meta's slowed down a little bit, I actually think that this is quite, it's got quite a bit of potential here, so I'm really wanting to try this out and see how well we can do. As you may know, Extilior is my least played captain, so I feel like I need to represent a little bit more on that front as well. So to start off, we've got Maximus as our early 1-drop, which is, everyone knows, the solid, easiest drop to go for. And I think where this gets interesting is our 2-drop is Stitchy McPatchy, and it's only Stitchy McPatchy. We've got no Deadeye, we've got no Detonia, we haven't got Ataria, we've got just nothing in there at all other than Stitchy McPatchy. And in the games that I saw and I played against, Stitchy was actually the MVP. It really did change the way the game was played. If you can stay safe with Stitchy while still healing things, really, really powerful. So following that up, we've got Snareling as our standard 3-drop here, and then 4-drops we've got quite a few. So we've got Broken Vengeance, we've got Shrapnel over here, and we've got Torian Guardian. So we've got one for defense, one for sort of more offense, and one that's sort of a hybrid in the middle in my opinion, which Shrapnel's very good defensively though, mostly. And then we've got Florio Lancer as like an endgame win con sort of thing, and Quetzalli for that extra mobility. Now, the way that this list worked was actually just getting a lot of value out of Extilior himself, and using Stitchy McPatchy to keep him in a good position. If you got rushed down very quickly, I can imagine this being a struggle, but in any slower matchup, Stitchy just takes over the game really easily, so I'm really interested to see how this goes. So we're going to jump into a couple of games and see what you can find. If you like this video, if you like all the content we're coming out with, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really does, help the channel grow, and I'd really appreciate that. And drop us a comment and letting us know what you would change about this list. So I'm going to jump into a couple of games, and I'll see you once the queue pops. Okay, we've got ourselves into a game, and we're going to see what we come up against. It looks like we're actually against potentially an unpainted Extilior, so that'll be interesting to see. Now in this list, I love the look of Stimburst and Lifeline. Stimburst is now one of my favourite assists of the new changes. Plink is not far behind, but Stimburst with Extilior is fantastic. Oh, it wasn't unpainted, just hadn't loaded yet. I think this is it Eternal Gamer, or is this someone else? Yeah, it is Eternal Gamer. I think they seem to be online constantly. We've got a lot of time playing against them, but happy to see it. The more gaming the better, let's be honest. Oh, I've just noticed the tip of the sword looks a bit different to how it did previously. So let's just move around the side, get our Maximus deployed slightly further back so it can't be blocked in. And okay, let's see what our opponent does from here, because there are, if we place it too close to this, you can easily get blocked in by other things. If I were them, I'd go around slightly further back than that, because I think Maximus can still get an angle there. Yeah, that's more like it. I might not be able to get an angle, I probably can. And get some shots off and see what they deploy here. So if they deploy aggressively with a Maximus, we can get angles on it. Oh, they've gone Tlali, okay. So they're going for the full defensiveness. So we're just going to take our shots onto their Extilior here, and I think, honestly, I think we're happy just to bank up time. And you just take a little bit of extra time away from it. We do need to hit one of those. So because they're actually playing a full melee list so far, I'm going to pass on Stitchy and just save up the Cinder. So without something like Disruptor and Stimburst, they're not going to be able to get to Maximus here. I just wanted to leave Maximus so he can get better angles, but still be fairly safe. I think we are going to still need to be a little bit further back. So with Stimburst here, we can actually probably get a good angle onto this, maybe. Especially if we go up this route, actually. But it's just a case of we need to see what they drop to figure out what's going to be our play from here, because they've obviously got second wind, so they can drop up to 4 Cinder if they're going for something aggressive. So with this, we can potentially even get into range. Okay, so that's Deadeye. The Neon Deadeye coming. There's second wind. We don't know what the assists are yet, so this could be Vortex or Disruptor. So I'm feeling this. I'm trying to think what this could be, either a Beatrice or a Maximus, or it's their own Stitchy. Okay. So, as we have discovered recently, Stitchy is a threat, so we need to start dealing with it. No, I didn't. Well, that's a shame.
Like my battle mask.
That is not the intended outcome there. So we're just gonna run up here with this and run back this way here. So this could put us susceptible to a vortex. That's really unfortunate because we were hoping to play out probably a shrapnel. Now I think we probably have to go with Snareling because we wanted more damage is the thing. And now that damage is pretty much gone. Snareling is, however, great versus Extilior, but that Deadeye is going to actually be a problem.
Being in a lab, huh?
So Stitchy's our main problem here, this neon Stitchy. Yeah, I didn't actually realise that the buttons had come up. I was trying to click off of it, so I've actually just wasted that 2 cinder for no reason. Not my proudest moment of gaming, but it will have to do. So if they had Vortex here, they might be able to get in range, but it's, again, going to be difficult. Stitchy healing inside. Okay, that's fine for us. Because if we can get Stim Burst next turn, we can probably start dealing with Stitchy. It depends. I don't think we can get a good angle with Snareling anywhere. Yeah, so take that. Absolutely, 100% shot. You might as well. And the question is, where can we get with Extilior? I think again we're just out of range. So we're going to be kiting back again, chipping some damage away at things. We don't have a line onto Stitchy here at all, so we just take the line onto Extilior. Again, we're not actually as worried about dealing loads of damage as we are about keeping our distance. So this means Extilior can't quite get into range. Pop ourselves back here with our Extilior. Now the question is, I don't think we can get a line of sight with Snareling anywhere good. But if we can get it onto Deadeye, and then move back, that would be great. We did, perfect. So now we can actually just move away from Deadeye. And then here we can place down our, probably Shrapnel. Yeah, I think Shrapnel's the play here, and we want to place it a bit further forward so it's harder to kill. With this route, in fact, we could even just go like here. Yeah, I think this is the position, because we can move around this if we need to with Stim Burst next turn. We've got the heal to bring it up, and then with Stim Burst, my hope is actually going to be, even though it looks like we're focusing around this side, I really want to kill the Stitchy. Stitchy is going to be the biggest issue for us here. Also, had we not done that spin, we could have just had a free Stitchy out by now. So we've got no idea on their assist yet. They know one of ours, but not the other. So we are going to be in range of getting up to Stitchy if we need to. Deadeye can't do anything to us yet, so it's only melee units that can damage us here. So we've got to see what they do. Being able to give Extilior pummel is fine, because that just spends 2 cinder, and all we do is lifeline Shrapnel back up if we need to, especially if they spin as well. Yeah, this could be really good for us. Especially if we start being able to Snareling every turn.
Retribution.
Okay, so they stasis our Extilior. That's fine. So now we just look for an angle onto these 2 and try and cut the gap up. Possibly even 3 here.
Do not distract me.
And we're just going to start Snareling up Extilior. We are fine with this. And now we don't actually need to use our we don't need to use our Stim Burst here. So we can just place like Florio down. Or... Okay, so Shrapnel can get.
Always surprised.
Is there not a line of sight in here to? Oh, because it's out of range. Let's go with this. This looks like we've got a good angle without being fully in melee range. Perfect. That was good. Snareling's just going to come over here and get a pretty much guaranteed shot. Did. So Extilior's stunned. We can get an angle over onto their Tali, but not a good one. So I think we actually just pop over here, take these couple of shots, pop back here. We are going to lifeline. We're not going to forget lifeline here. They can spin, but they can't do anything else into this, because I don't think we can get in range with this. So I actually think what we want is just to place a Florio down and try and start finding ways that it makes it hard for Deadeye to hit. So like straight behind here is a good plan for us, I think. So the plan is going to be to keep snaring here with Snareling. Extilior we want to kill Stitchy with, so we want Stitchy to heal here. They can spin if they want, but it'll only deal 2 damage. And I think this puts us in a pretty good spot to then be able to start Florioing next turn. Especially, I really need that Stitchy to go down. Stitchy's actually becoming a bit of a problem at the moment. Okay, so this looks like a Beatrice. Like something going that close into our face, it almost has to be. Is this a Vortex Disruptor? We know they've got Stasis Field, but I'm assuming this has to be something movement based. Yeah, Vortex, there we go. And that's not great. It does mean they could have actually moved up and given double strike here if they do it now. They can actually kill Snareling. Yeah, so now we have to just start going all in with Extilior.
Let's give them an encore.
Because this is going to kill him.
Always much to consider.
So I think we're in a good spot. We're going to be able to kill probably 2 units next turn. I think we should be able to get in range of that and bombard it if we need to, and then we can Shrapnel and Shrapnel Maximus the Quetzalli. So let's stim burst people. So here I actually don't think we're playing much out now. Yeah, I think we're going to go for this. So we're going to hit here. Actually, maybe I could have even fit into there. That would have maybe been better. So we'll Sword of Justice.
Leather platform.
We'll bombard these. We'll drop Shrapnel over here for a nice big shot. Got the crit as well, which is lovely. So now we can move even further back here. Because we just want to get as much movement out of this as possible. And we're just going to keep moving. Let's move Florio back first. And then use Florio to defend Maximus. There you go. I think we're in a pretty solid spot here. So we've got 3 crew out. They've got 1. We've got 1 more crew left than them in general. We've still got Stitchy in reserve, and we can probably just start chasing down their Deadeye if we need to. Yeah, so if they go to here, we might try and just take it out with Maximus. They're going to go for the accuracy on Florio. Makes sense. Ooh, that crit might be important. Especially if they can get in range with Extilior at some point. So interestingly here, we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, and we won't be in range with this. But we can start really putting the punishment onto Extilior if they don't play Toner. Okay, so I think that's exactly what we have to do. Second win. Okay, is this the Beatrice? Because they've been. It looks like they've been working on a Beatrice for a while. We could also place our own Quetzalli here and start just going for the race. Oh, they're just using that to take out Florio. Okay. So the question is, how do we want to do this? What can we get into range-wise with Shrapnel? So Shrapnel can't get into range, neither can Extilior, so I think here we are just looking at a Quetzalli turn. Probably about here, I want to say. Here seems good. So we get our first one here. This should be in range. There we go. Just move up to here or whatever. And we're just going to push Captain damage, I think. Now, they don't actually have Vortex yet, and we've got them blocked in here, so we can just try and keep putting damage down, hiding away. With 2 damage from that, so we might as well actually just shield and hope ourselves here.
Raising defenses. Commencing countdown.
So 5, 6, 7. I think we've probably got this turn, so we're just going to move into here. Without a Toner, I don't think they live. If they play Toner, we've got more things to follow up as well. Again, we're now actually equal on crew, but we've got more on the battlefield and more health. So we should be in a good spot. We've got Lifeline as well, which will be making it very hard for them to actually finish us off anywhere. Yeah, Quetzalli's having to run away. We have left them basically trapped in against this wall, which was the point there. We did have more movement if we needed to. We could have just like, you know, moved Extilior here, move Shrapnel up there, make it very difficult, but without this being a toner, I think we've probably got this. I'm trying to see what they could play. Like, this is... It's a big base, so it could be a Beatrice, it could be Crankbait. Okay. I do like that they've gone all for one colour scheme here, but... So let's just... Sword of Justice.
Executing justice.
Go for this, and just get the finish. Perfect. Okay, so that was a good game. This list actually worked out well, apart from that one misplay in the beginning where, yeah, we could have potentially just had out Stitchy, but I don't think Stitchy even brought much to the table at that point in time. And we've got a level up on Shrapnel. So that's a really good first game. I think it went well. We probably made a few misplays, but I enjoyed how it went. So let's jump into another one, and we'll see how it goes from there. I'll see you in the game. Okay, we've got ourselves into a second game, and we're against Astra this time. So, completely different style of play. I actually feel like we're quite good into Astra because we can just really run up there. Plink is great, Corrosive not so much anymore, so I'm going to go Nano Shield and Stasis Field and just see if we can just chase them down. It's going to be hard with Astra being airborne, but I think if we just play it safe on the on the way in, and then eventually we can run it down. Oh, we're against Eternal Gamer again with a different list. Interesting. So it's actually been a few minutes since the since the first round. So I was thinking this might have been a different opponent, but I think they've just been off making a new list in that case. Unless they've got a different paint scheme and they were just changing all their paint schemes, which would be quite cool if that was the case. Okay, I'm actually kind of happy with them going there because it means I can run up this way safely. We're not going to be able to stop this Cinder at all. Like, there's very little chance that we stop the Cinder at any point in the early game at all. Given that they only have Astra out, they're going to have Force. They could into the Breach something though, and they might have Plink. So I'm going to place it just here. Try and give us as many angles up here as possible would be safe as well. So we're going to have Force into next turn, which is probably going to be a Shrapnel turn for us, and just start trying to push through a bit of damage. So they're going to pick this up. There's no angle where they can hit our Maximus, I don't think. So what's their 4-drop going to be? I'm hoping it's not a Shrapnel, because that's probably the worst thing we could see here, because Maximus can't even poke through it. Oh, they're going 2-2 drops. Oh no, they chuck and go. Okay, it's about as bad as a Shrapnel for us, because we can't get a good angle into anything, so we probably just have to run away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run over here, which is about as far as I can go anyway. In fact, let's just go over here, and we'll just shoot it in case we get a crit. We did not. That is not a shock. So Force into here. Broken Vengeance just dies to this, so I almost feel like it just has to be Shrapnel. And we'll put it just out of melee range so they can't attack straight away. I don't think we're going to make it through Chuck and Co anytime soon. This is super defensive. I actually do feel like this would have been better as a Shrapnel, because, yeah, sure, it's got the toss, but I don't think the toss is really relevant here. What's this going to be then? Like, I don't know how we realistically make it through a Chuck and Co without just spinning it all over and over again. I think it might even just be the case that we actually just scooch around it and try and like move in different directions and worry about trying to snareling things and snareling it instead and move away. But yeah, so this positioning has really done a good job of shutting down Maximus actually based on where we placed him. So maybe we should have placed him further up and gone around there, but then they could have just placed Chuck somewhere else. So we're going to have to try and use Maximus to take that out. They've got their Maximus now. Okay. So if we can get line of sight onto Maximus with Shrapnel, we will from over here. I don't think we can, because I imagine they're going to run up and just toss us away as well. This is a Vortex. Yeah, so just bring us slightly back.
Give me another minute.
Still annoying for Extilior, but not the end of the world. I mean, if you want to move here, that'd be fine. We'll block you in and we'll run this way. So yeah, we're going to struggle, but I think Eternal Gamer's got a really good setup here. So, nothing that gets us line of sight onto that. So we might as well just work our angles and go this way. Take 1 damage.
Why is it like that? Flashing.
Maximus, again, no real angles. What can we get onto there? Huge minuses. So again, we're just going to hope for crits and just gradually work our way around towards where we want to be.
Piece of shaking
Extilior can come in. We've got our 3-drop, which here I think is going to have to be Stitchy McPatchy. Probably... If we actually also play Stitchy here, that can be quite safe. It's going to be hard for Maximus to get to us. So they're going to be able to just sit back and do what they want. We're going to very slowly move ourselves around. It's going to take a while because we actually almost have to fight through Chuck. And we don't have any way of getting through there. So luckily we have got a status field for something for next turn. So we can very likely start working things through. We're going to be able to take Chuck to what, 6, 5, 3 next turn. So yeah, we need to kill Stitchy. We're going to just start rotating around if we can get in range and just start working on Stitchy McPatchy. Yeah, if they play something there, that'd be great. We'd love to shrapnel that. Yeah, I think this might be a Quetzalli turn next turn to just run in this direction and just start actually getting some better positioning going. Because if we can get Shrapnel and Extilior around here, that changes everything. So this might be the big Quetzalli turn. I imagine they probably move back to a similar spot, like here maybe, or are they going all the way back? Okay. Yeah, to me this looks like a Quetzalli turn. Especially if they place another thing here and we get a shrapnel angle on 3 things. Tipu, that's probably our stun target. Yeah, this looks good to me. Whatever Chuck decides to do here. Let's go for a hit, I think. Okay,
Meditating.
I'm just gonna move there.
What is your will?
Move here. I think Snareling is actually just going to try and hold on Chuck. Which we did.
A diversion.
Where can Maximus move to?
At your service.
So he can only move to here. So I think we just take a pot shot with Maximus on something. And yeah, I'm just going to have to because we don't want to use our Cinder up on that. We need to use it here on Quetzalli. So we'll go for here, I think.
I'll get them moving, Captain.
So maybe we can get this angle. That's a pretty good one.
Warning.
Okay, so we're going to just
Instructions.
stun this.
You will fall. Applying.
Get our hit. I think this is good. We don't need to worry about invulnerable yet. We can save that. So you could hear me sort of going quiet then. I was tanking a little bit and trying to figure out, you know, what the best route is. Now this turn we can get Maximus back around again. We can spin this to kill it and move and attack something else. So I think Quetzalli's really allowed us to apply the pressure here. It does mean we can probably drop our own Stitchy this turn. Or we can just not go for a spin and place something else down. But I think this looks too much like a nice area for a shrapnel attack and Extilior spin potentially. So who knows, maybe we can even just kill Tipu. My goodness, I forget Tipu's name. Maybe we can just kill Tipu through other means. They have got a lot of Cinder, nobody's lost any units. We're going to start making the first forays into actually killing their units this turn. If they don't move Maximus again, I think we kill Tipu and Maximus next turn. If they leave us in a position where we can kill Stitchy, we'd probably do that. I mean, I suppose we could kill Stitchy with spin, but yeah, I think leaving Stitchy and killing these two... Oh, they got a lifeline, or... Oh, they got recall, okay. So now that probably puts us onto killing something. Interesting, Florio, okay. So now that Quetzalli is slow, this is interesting as well, so... Do we have a good line of sight with our Maximus anywhere? Just onto Astra. So we're just going to take that. We're just going to... We're not going to use him with the Quetzalli because we want to move Quetzalli forwards. That's why we've done this. so stay out of toss range and just go for this. Perfect. So Quetzalli needs to move forwards. The question is, how do we want to go for this approach? Do we kill Stitchy or do we kill Maximus? I think it's probably Maximus and then move round onto Florio. In fact, if we go here, we can start looking at...
Aye.
yeah, I mean, I think we just do this. Keep moving in this direction. And probably just play something like...
Complete your objectives.
So it's Broken Vengeance or Florio. In fact, let's just play Broken Vengeance over here. And just start shielding ourselves.
Security level increased.
This seems fair to me. So we're going to have to deal with Florio at some point, but at least this way Stitchy can be taken out by Broken Vengeance, and then we can invulnerable Broken Vengeance after the fact. We're just going to need to find a way to get on top of that Florio, because Florio can probably hit 2 or 3 units here.
No fair.
So Quetzalli obviously being great, but we're in a bit of a bind here yet. So this is Vortex. Vortex into Florio activation is pretty good, so they can probably hit 3 of us. Again, so Florio's going to be our big issue.
What's this dude?
Okay, so they're probably only getting 2 in that case, but maybe 3. Oh, they can get all 3, that's fine. It's a shame it doesn't attack back without line of sight. But... so how can we deal with all of this? Keep moving that way is fine by us. We're going to start deploying over the wall towards you. And start nano-shielding things as well.
Give me another minute.
Okay, so there's Beatrice. Yeah, so this probably is just a Florio that we need to place.
Getting hot in here. Woo.
What is your will?
Or we can... actually, we can Florio and spin here. I think this puts us in range of Astra.
What?
So let's try and get a better line of sight here. There isn't really one, so let's just go for one that gives us less chance of hitting our own captain. We'll squeeze in here. Yeah, so we're going to Sword of Justice. I think we are going to invulnerable ourselves. Attack here. Just start working through Beatrice.
At your service.
Maximus is going to come over here and just reduce the damage needed from this. Take our 96% shot here, and now we're going to start moving this way.
Not one for small.
Broken Vengeance is going to come kill Stitchy. Top. Kill our second wind. And plant our own Florio. Let's go over here.
We've arrived.
We can move back up this direction. And shield and hope ourselves.
Oh, I forgot my lucky
Let's
cravat.
go here again. Okay. Oh no, that was a bad move, because now we're getting ourselves set up for a bombard. That's a really bad move. That was the worst move I could have done. But oh well. Maybe they don't see it. We need to get into that Florio though. If this is a Toxoid here, which I imagine it probably is, that was actually a really bad deployment if this is a Toxoid. Alright, I need to be right back.
Onward, Berg.
Here we go. Again.
Too many choices.
Okay, apologies for that. We have just missed an entire turn, I think. So Beatrice has come and attacked. They have used Toxoid to kill our Florio. So, oh, they didn't bombard over there though, so that's good at least. So we can start just trying to move this direction.
Palms flat on the
What can we do with Quetzalli?
I'm like water. Whoosh.
So we can start moving up here, which I think is the obvious choice. The question is, I think we need to Sword of Justice first. And then we're not going to use that many of the Quetzalli triggers, so I think we're just going to use our first one to move into range and melee here. Our second one to move over here.
They're always surprised.
Shrapnel can, however, use it well. As can potentially Maximus. And try and take out this Toxoid. And what we want to do here is just spread out as far in different directions as possible. Snareling's going to go for the 0 risk hit here.
I hate this moon.
Broken Vengeance to shoot onto Astra.
Max out those moves.
Oh, it has to shoot here. And then we're going to summon Torian Guardian over here. So again, okay. Sorry about all that. That was a bit of a weird delay, but we're making progress. We're not going to get any more use out of Quetzalli. We're just going to pretend that doesn't exist anymore. And then I think, even though I placed Torian up here, I maybe should have gone here because we can actually just start going really aggressively onto Astra now. They probably actually want to recall Chuck and place it somewhere more defensively. Maybe even recall and then haste. They could also consider recalling Torian. Oh, Florio rather. Okay, so this kills Maximus, that's fine. Yeah, I actually think here we maybe should be considering rushing them down and stunning Astra so they can't into the breach anything either. And over the course of 2 turns getting the extra damage done. Yeah, so now that they've recalled that, we can actually just rush Astra down, snare her in place, stun her, and with the extra Cinder that we've got, we can just use whatever abilities we need to as and when we can. So I don't think we're in too much risk here. I think we're just applying pressure, try and take out the Cinder Orb with Shrapnel as well. I don't think there's a good angle to do that, but...
Gotcha.
Wow, we missed. Okay.
Input orders.
So we're just going to run in this general direction.
Both ends are pointy.
I actually didn't expect to miss
Not
that.
one for small talk. Today's your day.
Quetzalli can just kind of running in that general direction. We can stun Astra. We can summon Stitchy. Can't quite get in range of that, unfortunately. It is just this left, so keep shielding our hope ourselves. And we'll plop Stitchy down over here. And just keep applying that pressure onto Astra. So the only way of taking this is to deploy onto it, and then deploying into the middle of our units. They can't enter the breach, they can't move. All they can really do is things over here. This is where I really regret not having our Florio. Our Florio would have been great here. But this isn't a bad situation. Like, it might take a couple of turns to kill Astra, which I don't like. I think going up after this was possibly a mistake with Torian. Torian should have maybe come down here. So there's Florio back again, yeah. So they are going to deploy Cinder with the little Tipu. But again, so now we're going to be slightly short of into the getting onto Tipu here, but we have to decide what we want to do. Peacemaker Balam is going to be awkward. Interesting, I like this list. This feels a lot like my some of my Astra lists I've played in the past. So I think we're actually in a little bit of trouble because all of their remaining units are really good. And a lot of ours are a bit mediocre. So this is going to be a chain until Broken Vengeance just dies. Yeah, there we go. So what we really need here is actually to try and kill Tipu and spread out because... Well, actually, no, Balam's the one that needs to die. But I don't think we can get there. So what can we do? We can't stun Balam.
Input orders.
So Extilior could go slightly further. He might be able to get that spin. So we definitely need to spread out our units here.
Eager to please.
Can we get in range for the spin? No, we can't. Okay, that's very awkward. So we're just going to have to run to face with that. Shrapnel's going to have to come over here and just... Ooh, big crit there. So if we come over here, Balam can't hit both. Got that range attack in.
Perfect form takes sweaty practice.
This should be able to shield Extilior, but nothing else. Move it this way.
In your power.
Shield of Hope ourselves. I guess Stitchy just heals here. Okay, so we're not out of this yet, but we're not in the best spot. I believe they can also just kill Shrapnel, because they're going to deal 3/3. So, but that's down, reduced each time. So maybe they're just short, actually. They've got nothing left to Into the Breach. So they can stun Shrapnel, but maybe they can't stun Snareling at the same time. Yeah, we might have this just based on this placement.
Rise and shine.
Yeah, there's nothing to Into the Breach. They've got no recall. Yeah, so I don't think there's a way of them stunning both of these. If they can stun both, we're in trouble. If they can't, we probably have this. Yeah, Balam can stun one or the other. Because I don't think they can kill... I think they might have been hoping for a crit here, actually, because then they could have killed this and stunned over there. Yeah, I think we've got this. I think they had to hope for a crit. Because now we can use Shrapnel for lethal. Chuck and Co can't do anything. Yeah, GG.
Give me another minute.
What a good game. That actually ended up being very close. With Balam and Florio, I really think I was going to struggle to... Yeah, there we go. I was going to struggle to finish that off there. If this has lasted one more turn. Like, our captain would have been fine, but... Again, another really good game. I'm really enjoying this list so far. So, Stitchy wasn't prevalent there. Yeah, it wasn't incredible, but... Having that... Like, the biggest mistake we made there was placing our Florio near enough to be able to be killed by their Toxoid combo. We can jump into a third game and see if we can have another bit of fun. Maybe we get Eternal Gamer again. Who knows? It would be a best of 3. Which technically we'd have already won, but that's not the point. It's going really well. Really enjoying this list. This is actually the most fun I've had with Extilior, I think, so far. Apart from maybe the one game where we were just tanking everything with Toner and healing like 10 per turn. But that was probably like nearly 2 months ago now. So this is the most fun I've had with Extilior so far. And I think this is something that's going to be more of the case, is that because the meta's changing, it's a bit slower, the assists are worse, we now have much more chance to have a bit of fun with the different captains. So hopefully I'll queue up again, find a new opponent, and we'll see how it goes from there. I'll see you in game. Okay, we've got into our third game. Ooh, we've got an Extilior opponent now. Okay, so we've got Extilior versus Extilior for the second time. Let's see what we've got here. Ooh, Vortex and Nano Shield seems great. I think Disruptor is better than Vortex now, just because it moves further. But I think Nano Shield is better than Orbital Strike by quite the margin. So I'm going to go for this and see what we can work out from here. So, what is our opponent going to be playing? I'm hoping it's going to be, say, another good game, because all of these have been great so far. And I've actually, like I said, the most fun I've had playing Extilior so far. Still really proud of this paint job. I've got a lot more work to do on it, but I was focusing on the holiday painting competition first. So I need to figure out how I'm going to make this be a bit more finished. I really like the white and gold in general, though, and especially the pride flag colours everywhere. It makes me very happy to see. Oh, we're against Ben SM50. So this is a new player. Amazing. So hopefully we'll be able to have a good game against them. I'm hoping we don't just make them sad. Look at that Extilior. So weirdly enough, to me, this almost looks like it's been washed in like a white colour all over, because it doesn't look quite as crisp as I'm used to seeing it. But maybe that's just me overthinking things, because I think that might just be the default Extilior without any changes to it. It's just that when I looked at that shoulder, it looked a little bit more sort of washed over than normal. Okay, so this is one of the things you see new players doing, is deploying before you move, and if you want to deploy forwards, moving is the best thing to do first. So the issue here is that they may play Maximus, and if they do, this is going to be one of two things. So it can either be this is their own list. They figured out Maximus is great, and they're just going to play him no matter what, which is usually correct. However, it could also be that this is their one of their first time playing, and they're just using the initial beginner list as well. Which, okay, yeah, so there is Maximus. So what that means, with them placing it there, they're probably going to move somewhere. I'd imagine down this side. But if they could go here to stay safe. Yeah, and what we're going to do is we're going to move up here to be behind this, and we're going to deploy our Maximus behind here. This is my favourite little cover spot on these maps. So let's go ahead.
Your commands.
As long as we can fit to deploy there. So this, again, should give it a harder line of sight onto us. And we've got a very protected Maximus there.
Missing a massage for this.
So, again, this is still weird to me having our turn 2 be the Stitchy McPatchy, but I think we're... With our additional Cinder, we can go for Shrapnel instead, which is nice. Or Broken Vengeance, actually. Broken Vengeance can be fun here. I always feel bad when an opponent doesn't read Broken Vengeance and just attacks him, but it is kind of cool to see. And as we may or may not know, I believe Mario, one of the devs, made that mistake during the play demo then. So that is pretty awkward for them as well. Interesting enough here, them not being able to move again actually probably makes them safer from our Maximus. But this gives us a good angle in here, and if they're actually right against the wall, not quite. But we might be able to deploy in a way that blocks a couple of things from moving quite as far as they'd want to. This would be where like a Beatrice would just sit down here and ruin their day. Yeah, so this is the intro list. If anyone plays Maximus into Teutonia with Extilior Captain, there's a very good chance they're playing the beginner list, because these don't often find their way into the same list. If they're just going to play... Yeah, so I can just play Shrapnel here.
Always much to consider.
And just block as much of this as possible. So that's almost exactly what we're going to do. So, okay, so we can get line of sight into Maximus without too much of a detriment. I think there was a 2% one, but... It's like 1 pixel. It'll do. 3 will do. 75%. To be honest, I'll be happy hitting any of those. So Extilior is going to come back here, but into the smoke. In second wind. And we're actually just going to play Shrapnel right in here. Let's make everything difficult for them. And then our Maximus can just probably move back to about here. Should be out of range of Teutonia and something else. So let's just make them deal with Shrapnel. This is our little... We did paint the Shrapnel ourselves. It's not the best in the world, but... We haven't painted... Like, I'm one of the only people that's never considered painting Maximus. I do think I should. But I'm not quite sure what I'd do with him. I want to have an idea before I go into it. Like, I want Maximus to be one I put F into. Yeah, so if they go for Shrapnel here, they're not going to be able to move is the thing if they don't crit. Oh, they did get the crit. Okay.
That was just
so here's the thing. That's good for them. I'm glad it happened. It's probably bad for them in the long run if they wanted to actually move away, because that might just not let them realise that was potentially a mistake. I don't think they're going to be able to hide very easily from our Shrapnel, but they could just say go over here, move Extilior in. That works out quite well. So it's definitely doable. If they play something here and don't move forwards, or if they can't move forwards... Yeah, so here would be a mistake. I don't think they should place it here, because then that's just going to give us like a 4-shot with Shrapnel. If they don't move any further forward, because they look like they might be blocking Extilior off. Okay, they're not going to do that.
Look at all the
It's Aria, okay. So if they do actually move in here, we've got some interesting choices, because we can move Extilior around here and try and vortex things. Wow, lots of crits. Okay, so I don't know if there's actually a line through here to get onto Maximus either. So let's see what we can do. We've got like a minus 18. That's pretty good. Okay, did get one of the ones we wanted. Perfect. So here with 3 Cinder, we probably want to use Maximus first just to chip damage out. Ooh, we got a crit as well. Double crit. Awesome. Okay, so this is just a weird game in terms of numbers of crits. We're just going to keep putting down units. Here we're going to play Snareling. Probably even just... I don't know. Let's go Snareling like over here. It's going to be hard for them to get to us. And then almost tempted to just pull. I think this is actually the right pull. I think we want to pull this back more to try and reduce the chance of Titonia hitting multiple things at once, and also reduce any spins. Next turn we can also then spin, then move back and move Shrapnel in. So I think this just gives us a bit more flexibility. We've got Nano Shield for next turn as well, so we've got some good potential to follow up from this. This could be their own Vortex, it could be Ion Storm, it could be... Okay, Corrosive, so they can get 1 extra damage onto each of these, so that's 2 damage on a 3-turn cooldown. Pretty reasonable if you ask me. Hopefully this opponent actually, if they're new, they might not have played with the old version of Corrosive, so they might not realise that... So that, you know... Basically I'm saying that they might have the correct interpretation. Because previously that might not have been the case. So this opponent, just to clarify, even with the beginner list, they seem to be doing quite well. I think we're playing quite cautiously here. They can get that double yet. So it will do 2 damage to Shrapnel. But then if they try and use Aria, it will only deal 1. Did that only deal... I thought we had 4 life and the Corrosive. Maybe not. Okay, so... Oh, they're just pushing Captain damage, and they missed, unfortunate. So if they don't move away here, we've got a really big turn, because if we can just Snareling this, we're in a lot of... we're in a great spot. Especially if we can place some more damage down, like Broken Vengeance or Torian. Well, it's probably Broken Vengeance now, Torian next turn. Okay. Okay, so in for Cinder Infusion, that's fine. So we just Nano Shield ourselves, because we're going for it this turn. We're actually just going to move Snareling in after Shrapnel.
Meditating.
Might as well use Shrapnel to try and kill 2 things. Yep, we got that in. So, best shot we can take here. Did get the hit, perfect. Second wind, so we're just going to sort of justice this first. And then the best thing we can actually do here is just probably play... In fact, we probably want to just play Torian Guardian out here. And, oh, in fact, we should have had the win. I can just move away. Yeah, we could have the win here. There we go. Okay, we didn't miss. I was going to say, if I say there we go and then we miss, that's pretty awkward. Excellent. So another win on this. All in all, this has actually worked better than I thought. The meta has definitely slowed down. So to come against players that, you know, Eternal Guardian is, I think, relatively new. I think they're sort of low 10s or teens in terms of level. But I've seen them play enough games, they've played very well, and the fact we didn't come against any Zaxxas is probably a good thing for us, but I actually feel like we've really held our own in most of those situations. So, all in all, I actually think this list has a good shot. I played against it with my my latest version of the Balam control list a while ago when I played against Rantology, and it really did pick me apart. I couldn't outvalue the Stitchy in a slow match. So if you're trying to rely on things like a Florio, if you can spread out well enough, you only ever hit 1 target, Stitchy heals you right back up again every single turn for half the Cindy spent on Florio. So really, really efficient. I've loved playing this. I've really, really enjoyed it. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching it as well. If you have done, please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're going to see loads more content like this. I've got plenty more ideas coming. I'm currently in the process of trying to record as much content as possible so that we don't even have to have a single break over the Christmas period or the holiday period. So you can keep tuned in here. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think about the list, if you change anything. And most importantly, have a good day.